And tonight, the Tri-State looks back on the life and legacy of the Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth. He died today at his home in Birmingham, Alabama.
9 News anchor Clyde Gray is live at the Greater New Light Baptist Church in Avondale, where the Reverend worked for more than 40 years for equality in our city. Clyde?
Carol, Brendan, good evening, and we're going to begin with some new information we have from the office of Cincinnati Mayor Mark Mallory. We are told that Mayor Mallory has asked the city manager, Milton Dohoney, to order flags to be lowered to half-staff in honor of the life of the Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth. And as you said, we are here at Greater New Light Baptist Church in Avondale, where the Reverend Shuttlesworth connected to a lot of Cincinnati citizens, yet his life had an impact across America. His effort began with the civil rights struggles in the 50s and 60s down in Alabama. Along with Dr. Martin Luther King, Shuttlesworth was one of those who helped to form the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. And because of his efforts, the Klan tried a number of times to kill him. They even bombed his home. But as we said, it was his life in the civil rights movement and his determination to see that through that made him such a giant in the crusade for equality. Reverend Shuttlesworth, of course, was known for his courage and his perseverance as he endured beatings for racial justice and equality in the fight for all races. And the people who called in today to 1230 The Buzz shared how he changed their lives. We get more on that live from 9 News reporter Annette Pegler. Annette?
Well, Clyde, here in this Avondale neighborhood, Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth's spirit is felt here, and it will never be forgotten. Just down the street, there is a street sign that bears his name, and that street sign is just a small symbol of just how much the Reverend was actually needed and appreciated here in this tri-state. Now, people showed their appreciation for him by calling into the Lincoln Ware Show 1230 The Buzz today. 9 News was there when the calls came in. One woman says Reverend Shuttlesworth baptized her and was very influential in her religion upbringing. And that's how the Reverend got his start in activism in the church. Ministers across the country heard his talent and invited him to speak at their churches. He became a well-known preacher in the early 1950s, and in 1956 he founded the Alabama Christian Movement for Human Rights. It was this movement which shaped his national presence and civil rights.
Without Fred Shuttlesworth, Dr. King, he wasn't, he was mainly the speaker, the talker, the motivator. But when it came to rolling up your sleeves and putting on the boxing gloves, it was Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth, the fighter.
We had sponsored a book signing up in Mount Adams for Dr. Shuttlesworth, and it was the book was A Fire You Couldn't Put Out, and that's what, in my opinion, really described Mr. Shuttlesworth. I mean, America has lost a great American. I mean, what can you say about a gentleman who put it all on the line?
Now, Reverend Shuttlesworth leaves behind 4 children and a wife. Now, some of his children, we learned, still live in the Cincinnati area. Now, we learned today that there is going to be a memorial service planned for Reverend Shuttlesworth. And coming up new at 6, my colleague Janelle Walton will have more on that memorial service. Clyde?
All right, Annette Pegler reporting live for us this evening in Avondale.